You, Atomic Heart. I had a humongous hype for this game, almost as big as my appreciation to you. I love you, you are doing great.
Keep going on.
I was praying to the outer space gods for this to be a good game, and man, I'm really happy with what I got. Not because this is the best game ever, but because this weird robot lady kinda seduced me. It's been a long time. So sit down, bottle up, and get ready for another review, cause I will dissect this game bit by bit, and I will enjoy every last part of its body. Big disclaimer before I say anything: don't play this game thinking this will be the next Super Gen masterpiece cinematic. Wow! No, that's the wrong move. Play it like you were watching a Van Damme-like type of movie. Just enjoy the ride that it's being presented to you, okay? And also subscribe to me, okay? And like the video. Okay? So, if I could describe Atomic Heart in a single expression, it would have to be indie game but with more money. Why? Because Atomic Heart doesn't give a single badonkers about you and your opinions. Oh, but I'm a transgender cis Dragon King helicopter. It does whatever the hell it wants, it is crazy, and it doesn't stop surprising you all the way through. And I really mean it. This game has a great pacing because there's always something new happening, it being a weird boss or even some crazy scenarios. The money part that I talked about comes along because this game mixes the crazy indie game vibe with AAA-like visuals
that are used for all kinds of purposes.
But it's not only graphics and bitches that make this game stand out to the eye. The art... Já te cagaste outra vez, mano? The art direction is at least great. This guy doesn't stop fucking farting, Jesus. The art direction and the overall atmosphere is at least great. Probably my favorite aspect of the game, to be honest. Have this in your mind. You will encounter really strange ambiances. Underground labs, destroyed tunnels, weird experiments, poor cow. The robots are terrifying, the upgrade menu is really nice, the bosses are really creative, there's robots doing weird stuff, like really weird stuff. This game was definitely created by someone who has a disturbion, a psychiatric. So yeah bro, pretty crazy game. And a crazy game like this also needs a really cool combat, am I right? So what's the combat like? On the get-go, the combat is nothing out of the ordinary. It's pretty normal. But as you go through the game, you find out that the combat is actually completely normal. Really ordinary. It's really basic. You walk, you shoot, you have the option of dashing and sparing the guy with downswing, and sparing the guy with Down syndrome, and sparing the guy with Down syndrome. The weapons are also really basic. You have pistola, you have pistola electrica, you have shotgun, and other ones. You also have melee weapons, nothing out of the ordinary too, just normal axes. And the problem with the melee weapons is that the combat itself, the melee combat, it kinda sucks. It doesn't have a lot of impact, and that is a shit. At least a big shit. Also, when you are facing a lot of enemies, more often than not, if you get too close to a wall, you will get stuck, and not in a cool way. But fortunately, the ordinary and sometimes buggy combat is rescued by the rest. Bosses count me in. Such cool bosses, every one of them demands a different way of approach. You have this ball guy that's slamming against to the ground, just like me slamming children into the ground. You also have this thing that can only be defeated by X to the face. So cool. The spells are also really cool, even though there are only 3 and the ice one being kind of shit. The shield and the are super rewarding and fun to use. You feel like an absolute badass lifting all the enemies in the air. That's such a Sigma male moment. Like Giga Shay. Also, the music is great. You have a lot of songs that complement the vibe and the atmosphere, but the best ones I would say are the metal bangers and the creepy Russian music when you are walking past a corridor with the weirdest party ever. Party that I would not be As you can see, I kinda like this game, but this is the real world. And just like everything, this game has problems. Yes, I know, who would have thought? For me, the biggest problem with Atomic Hearts, it's the exploration and everything surrounding that. So let's go. Yo. Firstly, exploring this world is too much stressful. I mean, too much. There's enemies everywhere, there's cameras everywhere watching you. It doesn't even make sense. You don't explore, you pray to not get caught. But to make it worse, if you decide to attack the robots, I don't know how they do it, but a swarm of robots and enemies will come to you and try to perform some illegal shit. But to make it even worse, if you manage to defeat them all, another type of robots will come and essentially repair the defeated ones, making your progress essentially
Lost, essentially useless.
And to make it even worse, you get shit for defeating them. You don't get nothing. It is useless to waste your resources to defeat them. No, don't, no.
Caca.
That is essentially a big shit. No good. To complement all of this, exploring the world itself isn't really that rewarding too. You pick some bullets and some upgrading materials. Very rarely you pick some blueprints to make some weapons. Summing up, it's not worth to explore the world. I mean, not worth at all. It's not worth the risk. Don't do it. You will waste resources, you might get them back, but it's shit. No, do the main missions. And yes, I know this is not the focus of the game. The game is not an open world. But let's look at The Last of Us or God of War, for example. They are not open worlds, but they have so much cool hidden content. Atomic Hearts, on the other hand, is walk there, do the aspirator thing, and it's done. Let me just add one thing to the aspirator. When you are looting stuff, it is really cool in terms of quick, but in terms of me actually knowing what I'm picking up, don't know what I'm picking. It's and yeah, I don't know what I have. Basically, suck first, ask questions later, okay? Now, last thing that made this game not so great. It didn't really bother me that much, but it's still not good. The story. I don't know when or how or why did this type of storytelling become a thing in the gaming industry. Giving me important story facts on dialogues while I'm exploring or fighting is probably the worst way of telling a story, like, ever. Yes, there are games that the characters talk with each other and you actually give a fuck about what they're saying. For example, The Last of Us. The difference is in The Last of Us, you actually care about the characters. When they talk, it's cool, you want to know about them, you want to know about their past, you want to know how they interact with each other. But even on The Last of Us, a prime example of that, the dialogues are just a way of giving more dimensions to the characters, are just a way of developing the characters. They are not giving you important story facts. In Atomic Hearts, you don't care about the main character. He's just a Russian guy who smokes and swears. He's a buffoon. And the glove is completely disprovided of soul, and he won't even let you fap, like, do a quick one. Fuck you, mate. So when they are talking, the chance of me not giving
A molecule of a shit.
is in fact quite high. I won't listen to them. Just a disclaimer so I can get this out of my chest. Those dream worlds, you know, weird things, they are cool. They do not fuck the pacing. They just have to the vibe. So, summing up, I didn't hear 90% of the dialogues. I was completely out of the story. But there's still hope. If the cutscenes are good, I might actually catch up. You really think that? The cutscenes are weird, the acting is bad, the direction is even worse, they extend themselves for far too long. Oh, but it's art, you don't understand. And to top it off, the facial expressions are...
Don't lose your way.
All of this makes me not care a single bit about the story, making me just wanting to kill thick robots. Maybe if I'm a robot, they will suck me off! Eu queria ser astronauta, mas o meu pai não deixou. Did I just speak Portuguese or Russian? You don't know. Of course you don't know. You are dumb as Fuck, Atomic Heart was a cool game. It was really different, it was fun. Yes, it has its problems, but for me they weren't such a big deal and didn't really hurt my enjoyment. I had a lot of fun overall. So my final rating for the Crazy Russian game is a very different, very good,
Very horny.
and very generous 8 out of 10. Maybe 7. 7, 8, like 7.5. My soul wants to give him an 8, but my mind, it's a 7. I don't know. Take it as you want it. It's cool. Play it. Thank me later. And well, just like always, pizza. Just said another word in Portuguese. Do your homework, bitch.